Coming up on this midweek special of the Grassroots podcast.
What's home ice? Like, even if the rink is full of the other team's fans going nuts, the away team, they love that. We love that. I love that. Like playing in a building that hates you and you just want to shut them up.
But to have a successful organization, it should be an event where you go there and regardless if your team wins, you had a great time.
I'm Quincy Kennedy and you were hanging out in the Fox Den where we talk about everything grassroots sport in Australia. Exciting podcast today. I'm here with the full NSA team. How we doing, boys?
Good.
Fantastic, man.
So we have a lot to talk about tonight. It's going to be good, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So what's the big news today, guys? What's so exciting? What are we so itchy to talk to everybody about?
Well, it has been finally announced that the AIHL Grand Finals are being held in no other than Docklands OBG Arena in Melbourne for the fourth year? Fifth year?
Third in a row.
Third in a row.
But they've had it.
I'd say probably, close to 5 years.
I think every year that I've been here, it's been held there.
No, when you played for Canberra.
Canberra, it was held in Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah,
2010, I think it was in Newcastle.
So that's the same place you guys won at, right?
Yeah, we won it last year.
Yeah, so it's a nice place, right?
It's a great place. I guess
Winners are made there.
I guess some, but I guess I wouldn't say it's controversial, but some people say they want a different scene. Personally, I don't think there is any other scene than to go to Melbourne. Let's be honest. It has a great grandstand. It has glass. Which how many rinks in Australia have glass?
It's the only
we have glass.
Pro rink in the
It's
country.
it's a pro rink. You can facilitate an actual pro game or a championship weekend there. There's plenty of sites that are around. Docklands is beautiful. Plenty of entertainment for the people. I don't see a better venue. And I'm from Newcastle. Well, we're from Newcastle, as you can hear from my voice. From Newcastle, born and raised. But I don't know. Dave, you tell me. It's just it's a venue, and that's the only venue that Australia has right now.
I totally agree. You want to, as a player, you want to play on the big stage. You
Yeah.
know? You want to play in the big rinks in front of the most fans, and obviously with the Ice this year and kind of the last 5 years have been a really strong team. Might say it's an advantage for them, but to be honest, I don't think the players care. On the other side, we want to play in the best atmosphere in that big moment. And if it's on their rink, maybe it's an advantage for them, but I think it's also gets us jacked up too. I know we feel that.
Yeah, exactly. But thinking about the fans from a fan point of view, Matt, what do you think the fans are thinking? Do you think they're getting bored of it?
Are you saying I'm a fan? Or
No. Tell us what the fans are thinking. No, I guess if you were a fan, no. How do you think they feel about it?
I think it's always tough, especially financially for other teams. For example, if Perth makes the finals this year, asking fans to travel that far across the country to try to see it. Same as Newcastle. I know we had a good fan base last year for the finals, but it definitely wasn't anything compared to what we have in our home arena. So I think there's definitely going to be a little bit of disappointment for a lot of fans, but at the same time, as you guys said, the facility there, it gets a lot of people excited. I know a lot of people are dedicated to road tripping down there, which cuts costs, things like that. You can be creative.
Does it having it if we had it here, would it add to the economy here in regards to all the people coming in?
Oh, of course.
Increase hotel stay and everything like that.
Anywhere you host it, wherever town that is, wherever city that is, they're going to get a boost on the economy. You're going to have fans travel from all over to see their team. No matter where it's being held at, people from Perth are going to be there. If Adelaide, people from Adelaide would be there. Sydney, Melbourne, anywhere, they're going to be there.
So is that the reason why arenas or different stadiums, I guess, put in an application to hold the championship, to kind of publicize their arena more, advertise their arena more, get more people there, get money so they can invest into their arena? Or is it more of we don't want to drive down, we want to have the home field advantage? What is the reason for applying for it?
I don't think it's the arenas, to be honest. Let's face the arenas, apart from Newcastle, where the rink kind of somewhat owned the team. I don't think the arenas care less. For them, it's hours of ice sold.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Their canteen might sell some more stuff, but I don't think
See,
some
I'm
of these
totally
rinks.
in agreement with you. Like, I would like to disagree with you, but no, you're hitting the nail on the head with that because most rinks, all they care about is the revenue that they get from people inside the rink. So obviously, you can charge you can charge people at the door, but AIHL is going to get a portion of that, so the rink doesn't get all of it. And when you think about it, all they're going to do is just charge normal ice time, which would be your normal $350 to $400.
Let's look at where these rinks are. Like in Newcastle, we love our rink, and for hockey players, it's a good rink. Like it's big, it's got glass, the change rooms are decent and all that. But it's in an industrial area in a small city, which is a cool city in the summer and a nice city, but you're not downtown. Penrith is not a great part of Sydney. As far as going to the finals to make a weekend of it, you're not just, even hockey fans, they're not just going there to watch hockey. They want to make a weekend of it. They want to go out. They want to celebrate.
They want to shop.
They want to do all that stuff. And it's just not appealing to do that in really any other rink in the country. Perth industrial area. Like Melbourne's the only rink that is located in a spot where you can really make a weekend of it.
So as Penrith, that's where the ice is at?
No, that's
where the Bears. The Bears play out of Penrith. The Ice Dogs play out of Liverpool, which once again, that's a rink that has netting around it. It takes away from the atmosphere, and plus it's a smaller surface. Like if you go to another rink, Canberra is too small. I mean, you couldn't facilitate Nationals weekend there. It would give a good atmosphere because it's so crowded, but at the same time, between the ice surface and between just a combination.
Yeah.
And then ACT, nothing against it. Like it has a good nightlife, but I just don't think that would be the attraction that the AIHL is looking for if it's trying to be that. If it's trying to gain momentum and gain a reputation as being a Premier League.
Absolutely. You got to have money to make money. Like the fans that might miss out because they can't afford traveling.
Yep.
And again, I'm not love those fans, and each small club needs those fans coming each week. But as far as building up the league, those fans aren't the ones that are going to do it. They're going to help their club maintain. But the corporate dollars that can go into Melbourne is, if you're bringing new sponsors on board for that weekend to watch and meet the players and see the product, they're going to pump money into that. They're not going to pump money into the industrial park in Adelaide. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think by having that product, that's going to get us more big revenue dollars, which will help all those other venues improve, and probably not improve, but probably be replaced by more venues like the Ice House.
And see, I wish we had more insight, I guess, from the economics of it, especially within the league, profit sharing between the teams, because I'm sure at the end of the day, whatever profits are made are shared amongst the teams so that each team is viable. But I wonder if certain teams, for making the finals weekend, get an added bonus, or what portion goes towards the AIHL and the ongoing of it and just different things. So I wish we had that insight that we could,
I have heard that the host team actually gets less money, less portion of that profit than the actual traveling teams coming down. So I don't know the exact figures on that, but I have heard that before. Yeah.
What does it look like in the league in regards to rinks? Do you see that teams are actually investing into their rinks? Does it look like the league is really promoting to develop rinks?
They're not, and we need venues. If we're going to become what they want this to be, you're going to have sponsors. You have Air Canada. Someone is going to have to come in and invest and make a legit venue. More of them. Sydney should have a rink that can sit 2,000 to 3,000 people, bowl seating, just lower bowl, and it looks like a stadium. I can't tell you how many small college rinks or even high school rinks or just local rinks. Dave and I, when we went to Troy, New York over February, there was a rink that was pretty much barely being used, but had a great grandstand. It was clean, had great locker rooms. There was a new rink just built this year in Sydney called the ISU. And you would think, because right now, most hockey teams or hockey clubs don't have enough ice for their teams because they're competing with figure skating, they're competing with public sessions because they make more money. You need a hockey focus rink. And right now, that's what they're doing right in is OBG Arena? Yeah. O'Brien.
totally. Yeah.
O'Brien Group.
Where is that?
That's the Melbourne one.
That's the Melbourne.
And they're doing it right because they have 2 ice surfaces. They're like the only rink here that has 2 ice surfaces. Each rink is just one rink, one surface. And you need someone, like I said, to invest into venues where you can have grand final weekends, where maybe it can be used for more than one thing, where you can do ice shows that, you can sell tickets. Like you can do Disney on Ice. But that's what it needs. And that's where, when you're getting kids that are drafted from the NHL that are joining the AIHL. When I first came here in 2012, you had some washed up players that would come. I'm not going to throw out any names, but you have washed up East Coast, some guys that maybe have played a game or two in the AHL, maybe were drafted here or there. Now, consistently, you're getting guys that are drafted. Maybe it didn't pan out for them, but at least they've played East Coast, they played AHL. And, it's gaining momentum. You should see how many all the teams have a great resources of, volunteer people that are on board. They have great media teams that are really trying to push their team and get get the news out there. Even on Twitter, whenever the season starts, AIHL is one of the biggest trending things in Australia.
Yeah, right.
So it is gaining traction, but someone's going to have to invest.
There's no connections to the rinks, though.
There isn't.
There's not. The only rink we see continual upgrades on is Newcastle because of the direct connection of the media work that goes in, the fans that come in, the upgrades are put into the rink because there's a connection there. But all the other, you use Penrith or Liverpool as an example. The ice is sold for that game, so they care less if the fans come in. So I think the teams are doing a better job of the media. The on ice product's good, like John's saying. The players are coming in, but there's no, as big as the clubs are getting media and team wise, they don't own the venue. So they're kind of limited now. They're growing almost as big as they can grow. I think unless there's a direct link to a venue like the North Stars one. I really don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, cause that's my next question, because I'm thinking, who is responsible for that? Because I know for me, when we're looking for lacrosse fields, everything is any nice venue. So let's say the hockey field, they're ran by the hockey club. So we'd have to come under the hockey club and be a part of their organization. Or if we're looking for grant money to build a lacrosse field, we have to compete with rugby teams or the different clubs around here to get that grant money. And that's the only way for us to get a legitimate lacrosse field. How is it for the rink? How do you invest money into the rink? How do you build more rinks? Who is responsible for that? And how can you get money for that?
It's too hard basket, I think. I don't really know the answer, but the rinks are... Anytime I've spoken to people about building venues, and not that I'm going to be a rink builder, but of why the venues don't better support the hockey, is that it's not viable. And that rinks don't work in Australia because it's not a hockey market. It's the only work that public skating is their bread and butter, but there's no proof of it working because no rink will do it properly. They don't build a rink or a model that they're not giving the rink a chance to work.
They don't build it to be sustainable.
They do it half-assed, and then they're like, well, see, it doesn't really make money. We need it public skaters because you've built it for public skaters.
Yeah, right.
It's a national league now, and it's getting really big. Yet some rinks we have to change in 2 separate change rooms because we're next to the public bathroom. Or we're having to use the public bathroom. You know what I mean? Intermission while fans are Canberra, you're walking through the public bathroom. To get to your dressing room.
You're signing autographs as you're going to the bathroom.
It's almost like we have third world country rings. As weird as that's almost like an oxymoron. What third world country would have rings? But at the same time, India I think has rings. And there's different places. I wouldn't consider India third world, but you have different regions where there are ice hockey rinks, and I just feel like being in Australia, even though we're in the southern hemisphere, and even though hockey isn't, like you said, your bread and butter, there should be more than just the O'Brien Group rink in Melbourne. I feel like there should be more. We are hearing that they're trying to update Macquarie rink. Have you guys heard the rumors of that?
It's a hidden gem, that rink. That rink could be...
Great location in a shopping mall there.
Yeah. It's got great stands, space. It just needs some money put in. It's a hidden gold mine there.
So I would like to hear your thoughts on, do you guys feel as if Melbourne or any Melbourne team has the home ice advantage. Does that play in their favor if the finals is always there?
Not at all.
Tough to like. If I put my player hat on, I think I struggle more traveling than I do at home. Like everyone sleeps better in their own bed, right? And so straight away, to me, that's an advantage. They can have a better rest. They're waking up at a decent hour, having their own food, all that sort of thing. Whereas, a lot of the times that when I'm traveling throughout the year, we arrive at midday or something. We've got a game at 4:00, and I don't feel ready. I don't feel mentally prepared. I physically feel drained. I need to have a nap or something like that. We don't get the right meal in. I think all of that plays a big role in your performance on the ice. So to me, I think it is a slight advantage for sure. But Dave, you have a different opinion.
I agree with you. Like preparation-wise, you're going to prepare better at home just because of routine. But we're talking about finals. I think if you by the time finals come, the only thing that's going to hold you back is if you're a bit banged up.
Yeah.
I think your preparation for that, you're going to get up for that game if you're human. And
saying I'm not human.
I think home ice in hockey, home ice is. I really don't think it means much anymore, even in the NHL. Like, as I said, what's home ice? Like, even if the rink is full of the other team's fans going nuts, the away team, they love that. We love that. I love that. Like playing in a building that hates you, and you just want to shut them up.
But going back to what Matt said earlier about being on the road and kind of how like you just kind of groggy, you're getting off a bus, you're getting off a plane, you're going into Saturday's game, and you're just kind of more flustered. I totally agree with him there. But however, I'm a person, I can sleep pretty much anywhere. So whenever I'm on the road, I think I find it to be more of an advantage, especially that Saturday night going into Sunday. Because let's be honest, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I have home duties. So when I'm on the road, I find it a lot easier to be able to focus on the game at hand. If I'm getting a good night's rest, I don't have any distractions. Usually when I'm home, I'm trying to fit in a million things. I'm trying to go grocery shopping, and I'm trying to mow the lawn, and I'm trying to just do all these house things.
No, you're not that good.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I am that guy.
You're rocking the baby.
But, like, you don't have those distractions, so pretty much you can get a good night's rest. You can get your coffee. I can hang out with these guys. We can talk a little business, which doesn't take anything. Look good in our cheapskate outfit. Shout out to the brand. But no, so I like being on the road because I feel like I can just focus on hockey, and that's huge.
There's value in that. Like NHL teams doing that in the playoffs too, where even though they're at home, they'll take their players, or at least give them the option to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
And get away from their wife, their kids, their mistress, and just focus on hockey, even though they're playing in their home cities.
But you have to admit, like, hotels are nice.
It's so nice,
especially when you have free Wi-Fi.
It's so.
I mean, that doesn't happen here.
No.
I mean, you have to pay about $20 for about.
I don't mind the Flagstaff,
Yeah, single beds at the Flagstaff. It's not great.
Like you're trying to get to your room before the 15 other guys get to their room and get on the Wi-Fi, because like once you have more than 3 people, it's just going to slow right down.
You're right. Just being able to go down, not have to make your own breakfast, little things like that.
Yeah,
I think sometimes being on the road can be better for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I guess teams in your league, is it? I guess is the league that prestigious enough where you are getting those team meals in the morning at hotels? Like, I mean, not the
Continental.
Yeah,
Continental.
not those breakfast. I mean, like, are you guys all getting together as a team and you're having a breakfast together?
Usually
is
pregame. Usually pregame meals the team will do. So that's like, say if you have a 5:00 game, then you're gonna have a team meal at like 12, 1 o'clock. Breakfast is usually on your own. Some hotels will have the continental breakfast that the team's like, okay, if you want continental, yeah, but if you want to go somewhere else. It's on you. And like pretty much, like, I know all the spots, like Adelaide, beautiful places. Like you have so many great breakfast spots there. Melbourne, same thing. Perth, same thing. Canberra, we don't get to stay in Canberra. We don't get to stay in Canberra. Like, we don't get that. Yeah, but
it's funny how every team's different. Like the North Stars they treat it pretty professionally. I think like guys are on their own to make their own decisions.
Yeah,
and they kind of give you an option, and if you want to go off with a couple other guys to explore something else, that's okay. I know the team I'm playing on right now. New Zealand, it's all kids and they're all really young and everything's laid out. And I was saying to one of the other guys, it's like school camp, where everyone has to do this team meal and this is what we're all eating. Oh. And you just don't have that freedom to look after your own body.
How do you feel about that, though? Because, I remember I liked that part of it. When I was playing Gridiron, we had team meals all together. Even when we went to, when the Detroit Lions had their camps and we got to watch them or eat with them, they're all eating as a team. You guys like kind of doing your own thing, or do you like kind of get together
Pre-game meal, I think every team should do pre-game meal together. When it comes down to breakfast, when it comes down to that morning meal, it's either here or there. Some guys want to sleep in. Some guys want to wake up early. You have, overachievers like myself. I'll wake up at 6. Other guys, they probably.
I think you need to be doing one thing a day as a team to check in. But I also think you need at our level, you need the flexibility to be able to treat yourself how you need to be treated. Back to my team is we're doing compulsory team warm up. Everyone's doing the same thing, and I think no one works like that. Everyone's different. You might want to go off with one of your buddies or by yourself one morning and get a coffee and have a walk or check in and do whatever you want to do. I think a big team lunch.
Do you guys have a 10 o'clock curfew too, or what?
No one falls.
That could be just lack of experience, I guess.
It is. I think, but I think you got to make guys feel responsible. If you're laying it all out, if you're giving them every meal, every warm up, and they're not performing, it's almost like, well, did you prepare me to perform? Whereas I think if you put the onus on the player, and they know, my preparation, they own the preparation, and then they're going to own the performance.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess back in regards to, I think we're chatting off camera, back to the whole stadium thing. I think you mentioned maybe the AFL championship or one of those rugby or footy have all their championships at one stadium every year.
Yeah, I think there's pretty much both for NRL and for AFL.
NRL moves.
NRL
varies between what?
I think they've done a multi-year deal, haven't they, recently for a venue? But the AFL is always at the MCG, which is the home of football, and half the league, just under half the league, are based out of Melbourne, but they play at multiple venues. But it seats the most, and it's the home of football. It's almost like a tradition. So it's played out of one venue, and players, again, you can argue both sides, but players want to get there.
Yeah,
they want to get to the MCG, and just like it's becoming a trend that, we want to get to Melbourne for the finals. We want to get to that venue.
Yeah.
And you kind of, I know the Frozen Four, Johnny, is that,
Well, see, the Frozen Four, they'll use any rinks. So you have regionals, you'll have a host city. You'll have, like you said, the Frozen Four. But when you start off with the top 16 teams, you'll have 4 different regions that'll have 4 teams each. Yeah. And then from there, you go down to the Elite 8. And then from there, well, actually, that happens in one weekend. So you go from 16 to 8 to 4.
But at the start of the year, do you know where the Frozen Four is going to go?
Oh, yeah, by the way. So and see, I feel like that works better in a situation where you have single elimination games. Whenever you're playing playoffs, though, I think whenever it's a playoff format,
if you're playing a series,
you want to be in your building.
Yeah,
I think there's a home ice advantage to that. But when it's a one-off game, you're not going to say, oh, they knew that there was a little wedge by the Zamboni door, so that was the difference between games. That's not going to make the difference. Right. So I feel like when it comes down to elimination, it doesn't matter the venue. I don't think there is a home ice advantage, and that's why you can have, that's why you can set it up that way. That's why you can announce it months in advance, so then people can get there. So fans can make that travel. They can, plan the trip, and everyone knows it's going to be there. So,
do you think that would change if there was more and better stadiums or arenas to play in? Because like you're saying, it's starting to be this tradition where you want to get to Melbourne, but maybe if there was 4 other just as qualified arenas, it wouldn't matter to get to Melbourne.
In hockey, because there's no history there. There's not one venue or one city that kind of that's home to hockey like the MCG would be for football. But if you had more, like Johnny, it'd be great to move around and develop the sport by promoting it in different spots. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know, back at home or in the States, that the Super Bowl is like a 4-year or 8-year bid. It's like 4-year gap or 8-year gap that you bid on where, or if your city or your stadium will host a Super Bowl.
But that's such a huge economic thing for a city. Like a city wants to invest. If a city can get that, like they're frothing over it. That's millions of dollars.
Well, it's like
It's almost like the Olympics.
It's like the Olympics.
Exactly.
It literally is the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Dave, when we flew into the States once again, we flew into San Francisco. Usually we always fly into LA, but we flew into San Fran, and like you're going through the airport and you're having all this NFL memorabilia. Yeah. And like I'm just going there, like I didn't even know because like I've been so like out of the game for so long, and I'm like why is all this NFL stuff? I'm like, no, there's no way the Super Bowl's here. I'm like, the Super Bowl's here. Wow, and like it's crazy.
But yeah, and maybe that's something to look at down the track is if you want to apply for it, then you have to show that you're putting money into your venues, or I think that's what's not happening is the venues aren't getting developed. Like Canberra, as an example, are putting a lot of money into their team, and they're doing things the right way. They're the whole social media, the fans, like that club, that team is growing, and the money's there. But the local hockey in Canberra, they're benefiting from that. People getting into the game, but the venue is the same old venue.
But then you have to look at the size of the sport too, because I mean, talking with ALA, the Australian Lacrosse Association, like a lot of the things that they talk about from getting grants deals with getting grants from your sports, like the ASC, the Australian Sports Commission, but then also getting grants from within the government council and different things. So in order for them to invest into like small clubs and being able to make a nice field, they have to get money from here and there. But the bigger you are as a sport, the more of the pie that you're going to get to build your sport. So, I mean, we're at a point where we're very heavily focused on growing the game of ice hockey. But, like, I guess you have to get one, government support to do it. You would have to get community support to do it. Or one, you're just going to need someone that's heavily invested into hockey that's willing to do it. And like you said, going back to what you said, no one really sees it as something viable in Australia. Yeah. Like, I think everyone who's making a rink right now is looking at how do I make money off of it. It's more of a business venture. And when you look at it from a business venture, you're going to be thinking, how do I get my return as quick as possible?
In addition to that, again, going back to the lacrosse example, when we were looking at getting grants and getting money, a lot of it was based on what we were going to do for the community and how we would use our new field or venue for more than just lacrosse. And maybe like what you were saying, like arenas aren't doing business right, like they're losing money because they're not using it properly. Maybe that's the thing too, where instead of just building it just for hockey, you add on an extra rink that you can lay down turf for box lacrosse, and or something like that. But I mean, that's what I found trying to get field times or trying to get grant money. They're like, well, what other sports are you doing? Well, I was like, well, there's enough out there for every other sport, but there's nothing for lacrosse. So we're trying to partner with field hockey to get on their fields and add value that way.
You've got to always, like, how is it going to grow next? Like, what's going to come next? What's the growth like for this facility? But I feel like that hasn't been done in any rinks apart from the Melbourne rink that's been built, because they're building these rinks. Hockey's coming in. It's like, where's the change rooms? Oh, we didn't really think about that.
or like for glass. I can't believe there's rings being built now. Like, there are rings being built now that don't have glass. Like, let's get beyond the point. Let's get glass. Like, I don't care if it's figure skating. I don't care what it is. You should have glass. Like, it's just, you should have it. Netting and the pulling the nuts off and then taking them down. Like, having little Billy being able to, like, kiss his mom over the boards, let's get rid of that, okay? Let's just make it a venue where you can easily do that. If she wants to kiss him, like, okay, just wave to mom as you skate by. But then, like, there are rinks being built. I know puck handlers, Ross. He's converting his roller rink into an ice rink. And I'm, I guess, curious to see how that's going to look. If there's going to be maybe a small grandstand or what the focus of that rink is going to be for. Right. I mean, I'm sure he's heavily involved with ice hockey, so I'm guessing
he gets hockey.
He gets hockey. So I would like to see that be one of those rinks where you just see a lot of adult leagues pumped out of it, a lot of youth teams pumped out of it, and I think it could be something great for Victoria, massively great. Cockburn and WA, I've only seen pictures of it, but that's a new rink, and it looks great, and it's doing well. But once again, I don't think it has much of a grandstand either. But isn't it a two sheet ice rink?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
hockey side.
I think what Australia's missing is the right business people to invest in rinks. I think all the rinks that are getting built and have plans to be built all have a ceiling put on them before they're even built. Like, none of the people that are coming in are thinking, like you guys have just said, how else can we get a revenue stream happening apart from just leaving ice in year round? Because historically, more rinks close in Australia than get built, and no one's looking as to why is that. They just keep repeating the same thing over and over again.
Keep building it the same way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know how it works with licensing and all that, but maybe like buy the team. You know what I mean? If you're putting a rink in Sydney, buy the team or have a partnership with the team that, you know, the team, you want the team to grow. You're going to, as a rink, you're going to help market the team to bring people in. It's, you know, if the team grows, the rink will grow or should, and vice versa.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of growing, I know when I played for, like, I guess, junior teams and, like, they're trying to be within the community, and when I played 1 year semi-pro in Dayton, like, you're always doing, and even college, you're always doing things to get yourself in the community. I know I've seen a couple things here and there. I know North Stars, we've done things with John Hunter Children's Hospital, and we do little tidbits here and there. But collectively, I feel like we could be more in the community. I think we could be doing more so, like, our face is seen. So it's not just the small community here. It's more of, like, we're reachable. Like, these guys live in my city, and, like, I want to support those guys. And I think we can do a better job. And I think each team in the AIHL could do a better job. I know I applaud, I think it's going to say Melbourne Ice or Melbourne Mustangs, where they'll have the fans come into the locker room after the game. Or, like, have a skate with the players. Like, I remember for RPI, we did one game where we would skate with the players. That's a great way of, one, introducing people to the game, and it's just a way of people connecting to them. Like, they're on the ice with the players, taking pictures. It's just a fun thing. And, Dave, you've always mentioned kind of like the game day special jerseys. I feel like that's a great way of just creating more of a vibe or just adding an extra element to it. Like,
interact with the fans. I think that's the beauty of the sport being so small is that, and what a lot of the new fans like about it, who've never skated themselves, is that they have access to the players.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're following an NHL team, your access to the players is very limited. You know, unless you're waiting outside a car park somewhere, you're not really getting to see or talk to these guys. Whereas the AIHL, like in Newcastle, every game, most games, we go across the ice and thank the fans for coming.
Exactly.
And it's a small thing, but I know for a fact that a lot of those fans, they keep coming back because of that. Now, not just to say hi, but the fact that they can watch the game and feel like they can chat to you about it afterwards is huge. So I think it's a big thing being in the community, just small things like that. But having fans feel like they can kind of touch and feel it too is
I think that's like the normal now, just with like social media and everything. It's just community based. Everything's community based. You have your tribes, you have your following, and they really want to get behind something. Like they want to be a part of that group of people, like that kind of that tribe feeling. Like you know, we're North Stars. You know, it's a family kind of thing. I think that's just so being in this generation of social media and everything. And I think with teams being the way they are, especially the North Stars. Like I know when I started working with the North Stars and doing the whole interviews and everything, like it really felt like it was a family. Even the people on Twitter and social media and just the random citizens of Newcastle there, all talking and having a good time. It really felt like it was a community and a family in the rink. So
North Stars are doing it well. I think we're pumping up the North Stars, but that because it's just what we're familiar with. Other teams are doing a good job too, but
absolutely,
the venues play a big part in that, to how much you can interact and help the fans, like bring them into the locker room, like to some of the locker rooms, like
some of the locker rooms.
That is very true. And then like Canberra, you couldn't bring the female fans in because they got to walk through the male toilet.
It's really awkward. Yeah.
But I think it's we're seeing more of that. Newcastle's always done it. Like it's entertainment for the fans, and they got the moose out there, the lights off, things like that. It's not. You're not just selling hockey to them. You're selling it's a night out. It's entertainment. Yeah,
it is experience. Like I guess a successful organization or a successful team is based around. Well, I wouldn't say the team. Like team, I feel like that's the guys in the locker room. They're getting the wins and losses. But to have a successful like organization, it should be an event where you go there and regardless if your team wins, you had a great time.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that, I mean, I think like they're doing like the mini Zamboni and like
Yeah.
the moose going around. And you're seeing more teams with mascots. Canberra has a mascot. Melbourne Mustangs have a mascot. Ice have a mascot. Who else? Does Perth have one? I know Sydney Bears have one.
Yeah.
Dogs have a mascot. I think everyone has a mascot, so they're doing that. I just think I want to see the T-shirt launch.
Yeah.
But granted, the rinks are so small. I feel like
They blow the holes in the room.
taking people out. But I think that's huge. Whether it's the vibe that you get from the ring, whether it's the music, whether it's the lights, you want to have that entertainment factor.
If you're going to an NHL game, if you're there early enough that you can watch the warm up, watch the rink fill up, and then watch the pre-game presentation before the puck's dropped, money well spent.
You are amped.
Yeah,
you are
can
so
take
amped.
a date there or a buddy there, and the night is good already. Now you have the hockey game and all the stuff in between periods and things like that. So yeah, you're selling entertainment. It really shouldn't matter. Obviously, hockey fans want to see a good product on the ice as far as their team doing well. But let's face it, new fans, they want to see the big hits. They want to see a fight. They want to see
Dave Ferrari, just
getting beat
drop
up.
the mitts.
So
That's exactly it.
it's you're selling entertainment.
And guess what? You can't
Entertainment.
do that if you don't have the facility.
No.
Yeah,
Goes
exactly.
back
You want
to
to
it.
attract that first date kind of vibe, somewhere clean. You want to take them, not like, oh, we're going to a hockey game. It's going to be freezing cold.
Freezing cold.
Wooden seats.
Very
with slimmers in.
true. Yeah, it could be a really bad date actually.
I think it comes back to as well what you said that the rinks kind of need to own the teams to be able to want to create that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like the Sydney rinks, they get their money for their ice. That's done.
Yeah.
Whereas
They probably almost like it because less of a cleanup, right?
yeah, exactly. Whereas the rink in Newcastle, they're always trying to be innovative and think of new ways to entertain the fans because they have an invested interest in it. So I
And
think
we're
that's,
seeing the results of that as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, story of the day: championship is being played in Melbourne this year.
Going to Melbourne.
Going to
We're going to
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
So get on your bus and head down there to check out the game.
That's it for this week's episode of the Grassroots podcast. If you like what you heard, consider subscribing to us on YouTube or iTunes. We want to know what you think. Jump on our Twitter poll at grassroots_AU. Does the location of a championship game have an impact on the outcome? Don't forget to check out our other social media platforms. Our Instagram is grassroots_sports and our Facebook is Grassroots Sports. While you're at it, sign up to the Grassroots Sports newsletter via our website, grassroots-sports.com.au, for exclusive content and competitions. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next time on the Grassroots podcast.